What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I am Chad, the Reseller Rockefeller. Today is going to be a kind of a lengthy video. I'm going to try to keep it short, but it might, extend out a little bit because I like to talk about reselling. I like to share information with you. I like to discuss anything that has to do with reselling. So anyways, today's video is going to be all over the place. I have so many different things going on, so many different things that I want to talk to you about. Later on in the video, we're going to be talking about, motivation and what motivates you as a reseller. Also, I'm going to be discussing kind of an update on the Simpsons toys, and we're also going to be talking about other different things throughout this video. So if you want to learn about reselling or you are interested in reselling, definitely watch the entire video. Also, if you are new to the channel and you want to experience, what reselling is all about, or you want to give reselling a try, or maybe you just started reselling and you just want to enter the reselling community, don't be afraid to reach out to me. You can follow me on social media. You can reach out to me on social media. You can always leave a comment under any one of my videos. Don't be afraid to reach out. All of you newer resellers, I know exactly how it was, back when I first started on YouTube, or before I even started. I was kind of timid. I didn't want to reach out to other resellers on social media. I'm not going to be that person. I will respond to every person that comments. I will respond to every person that sends me a message. That's just the kind of person I am. I love talking to people. I love chit-chatting. I love answering questions. I love communicating and carrying conversations, with anybody and everybody. As long as it has to do with reselling, it's what I love. So anyways, that's just something for all of you to think about. If you want to leave comments, if you want to ask questions, go ahead and do so. Feel free by all means. Before we jump into this entire video, like I said, this video is going to be all over the place. I have so many different things that I want to talk about. But before we jump into the video, I just want to give a big shout out to all of my subscribers. Every one of you that is subscribed to my channel, I really appreciate it. Every day that I read the comments and I answer questions and people reach out to me for help and advice, I just really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for, subscribing, and thanks a lot for watching my videos. And, I always want to say this in other videos, but I never really get around to doing it. You got to make sure you stay until the end of the video. I talk about so much different things throughout my videos, and I think that's kind of a downfall, but it's also, it's also something that's kind of beneficial because I get better as I go. My videos usually start off pretty rocky, but then towards the end, I start to talk about some really good stuff. Now, sometimes, obviously, some videos are just going to be boring. They're not really going to be full of information or full of knowledge. That's just the way it is. But anyways, today we're going to start the video off with a short haul video. Today was Friday, and I got up this morning, and basically I was in hopes that there was going to be like 50,000 estate sales. That's what I hope for on pretty much every Friday. I hope that there's going to be tons of estate sales, but usually I always am just disappointed. Like today was Friday, and there was only 2 garage sales. There wasn't even an estate sale in my local area. I almost drove to Ocala, Florida, which is an hour south of me, but I just didn't feel like driving. There was a bunch of estate sales down there. But anyways, I went to 2 garage sales locally, and I bought a few items, so I figured why not? Let's start the video off. I'll show you a couple of items that I picked up this morning, and then later on in the video, I'm going to be talking about what motivates you as a reseller, what motivates me as a reseller, and what motivated me as a reseller when I first started full-time on eBay. So that's going to be later on in the video. I'm also going to be giving you an update on the Simpsons toys. So far, so good. Things have been doing really well. Obviously, I have tons of toys that I haven't even listed yet. I've barely scratched the surface when it comes down to listing them. I think I have like 25 items listed as of right now. I've been working on so many other different projects that I haven't got around to listing them, but hopefully in the next few days, all of those will be listed. I am a one-man operation, so it takes me a little longer than your average reseller that has, helpers or employees and things of that nature. But they will definitely be listed soon. So I expect to, you know, have them all listed within the next week for sure. And then I expect to constantly, you know, hopefully the sales immediately start to come in. I've already sold a few items, and so that's good. I got some details regarding that. But anyways, we're going to get to that later on in the video. Right now, I'm going to show you a couple of items that I picked up this morning at 2 garage sales. Okay, so as you can see, I have a couple of items spread out across the table. Most of the items are small items, nothing too extravagant, no big ticket items, nothing that's going to sell for, you know, a bunch of money. But I did pick up some pretty good stuff, and I didn't really spend a lot of money at all. Most of the small items, so everything you see on the table other than these 2 boxes, this box, and that box, the suitcase back there. All of the other smaller items I picked up at my first garage sale, and I did a bundle deal for everything, and I spent $30. So let's go ahead and start off with this item. This is just a little set of sterling silver. I think they're called olive forks or olive picks, something along those lines. But basically, they're just little, you know, tchotchke items that people collect. I've sold so many of these in the past, it's not even funny. A set like this doesn't bring too much money, maybe $35, $40, something around there. Next item that I have is this little set here. I think this is called I'm pretty sure it's a coffee set. Anyways, it comes with these 2 cups, the 2 saucers, and this I think is for the creamer, and this I think is for the sugar, and then that is for the coffee. This is a company called, people pronounce it differently, so do not get upset with me if I butcher this name. But I pronounce it Dansk or Dansk. It's D-A-N-S-K. It's made in Denmark. Most of you, if you deal in this type of stuff, I imagine you've heard of this company. They make really good stuff. Over the years, I have bought and sold so many items made by this company, and I always do pretty good with them. Obviously, you can't spend too much money because it's not worth, you know, tons of money. But a set like this should bring easily, I'm going to say 40 to 50, very, very conservatively. And so, you know, I look at it like, you know, if I have a few dollars into it, then it's definitely worth it. I paid $30 for everything that you see right here on the table, all of the small items. So, you know, that's a good profit, but I definitely wouldn't go out and buy this type of set for, you know, $20, $30, $40. I would buy it for, you know, $5, maybe $10, depending on the set, depending on the condition, all of that good stuff. I checked every little item. I wanted to make sure that there was no nicks, no dings, no scratches, no repairs, no damage. Everything is in really good condition. I don't think it was ever used. I think it was just a display. So anyways, that's a pretty decent little pickup there. Okay, moving on is another little set of Dansk, which is, this is the, some people call it enamel, porcelain enamelware, but basically it's made by the same company. Pretty cool looking, the way that the handles are. I don't know if you can see that good, but it's got that really, you know, cool look to it. This is what everybody likes. People collect this stuff. I don't really see too many people using it, but there is, I guess, you know, maybe over in Denmark, I imagine, you know, people actually use this on a regular basis. But over here, I see a lot of people collecting it. I see a lot of people putting it up on display, things of that nature. But this is a really cool set. I've never really seen this one before. I've had both of those pieces before, but I've never seen this piece. Just the shape of it, it's like, I don't know, it just looks kind of like it would be a lid, but it's not a lid because you can see the flat part along the bottom. So I'm not really sure what exactly this is used for, and I don't know if it's supposed to have a lid or not. I don't think it does because of the way that the top is facing outward, whereas this is facing inward, the lip. So I don't know if it's supposed to have a lid or not. I'm guessing no, But anyways, that's a pretty decent set. I don't think it's going to bring too much money, maybe $50, $60, because it doesn't have any cracks, chips, or anything. It's in really good condition. So I'm going to, you know, and basically, like I said in all of my videos, I mean, some people sell this type of stuff for dirt cheap, right? Resellers that don't really know what they have, and they're just looking to turn a quick profit. They will toss something like that up there and sell it for, you know, $20. But for me, somebody who specializes in this kind of stuff, I'm going to take really good pictures. I'm going to describe it good. I'm going to have a very good title. And that way I'm going to be able to, you know, I'll fetch a premium to a collector, to somebody that's willing to pay good money for it. So I think I should be able to get at least $50 to $60 for those 3 pieces. All right, moving on to the next item. I'm not really sure exactly what this is. Some would say it's a decanter. I mean, it definitely resembles a decanter, but it's just a really cool item. It's hand blown. The glass is beautiful. It has a few bubbles in there. Just the shape of it, though, is what attracted me to it. It's got this very odd shape where all 3 of the actual sides are pushed in, and then the top is the same way. It has these pushed in areas, has a nice glass hand blown top, and it's just a really cool item. You know, I had this item and this item thrown in on the deal. Basically, I got a bunch of items together. She said 30, and then I said, would you throw those 2 items in and I'll do the deal? She said okay, and that's the way the deal went down. So stuff like this, I talk about it in other videos. Glass items in general are extremely hard to identify, as in like who the maker is, and glass is extremely hard to date. It's just so hard to figure out when a glass item was made because, you know, humans have been making glass for so long. I mean, it's unbelievable how long glass items have been made. And obviously, over the years, we have perfected the art of glass making and glass blowing and things of that nature. But you have to be a real expert in glass to be able to look at a piece of glass and immediately date it. You know, to pick out, you know, where it's made is a little easier just because different styles and ways of making glass across the country and across the world for that matter, it's a little easier to determine where an item is made, especially when you're talking about a glass, than it is to determine, you know, like when it was made. So hopefully that makes sense to you. But anyways, those are 2 pretty cool items. Probably broke it, so it's probably worthless. But anyways, I think those items should sell pretty good. They're not going to bring a bunch of money. I'm guessing I can probably get a $30 and maybe $30, so $60 for the both of them. I'm not going to sell them together. I'm just saying, you know, I think they're worth 30 each. And also, just to let y'all know, you know, when I talk about prices, that's not a guarantee. I'm not saying that I'm going to for sure get 30 for that item. I'm going to for sure get 50 to 60. I'm basically just throwing a guesstimation out there based on my experience and what I know, you know, what I think it's going to sell for. Also, I charge shipping. On items like this, I do not do free shipping. Free shipping is for clothing items only. I charge shipping. So if I'm going to get $30 for that, then it's going to be $30 plus probably $10 to $12 shipping, you know, making it a total of $40 to $42. This was a pretty cool looking item. I just seen it on the table and I picked it up. It's definitely got some age. I think I've sold this brand before, or this maker before. Arabia, made in Finland. I'm almost 100% positive that I had a piece a long time ago that had a bird on it, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked this item up yet, so I don't really know exactly what this item's worth, but we'll definitely find out, and I think I'll have no problem selling it. It's just going to depend on how much I sell it for. This item here is just a small little vase, but it's super, nice. Whoever made this did a really good job. It's, it feels like quality. Everything about it screams quality. I'm going to have to do some research on this company, but I definitely think this is mid-century modern. It says on the bottom, Vermont Marble Exhibit. So I'm going to do some research on this, but I think this should be an easy 25, maybe 30, depending on what kind of research and info I find out about it, but probably a $20 to $25 item. All right, this item here is a really cool item. I've actually bought stuff like this in the past. This is 100% a basic, genuine, like, reproduction. Basically, some companies will do exact replicas of items made, a long time ago. I'm going to do some more research on exactly, what this company was replicating right here, but it looks to be probably Egyptian, but it's made by this company here. And when you look this company up, it's basically a company that makes, exact replicas of other items and like vases and statues and figures. And they do it all of it's handmade, hand painted. So, they were selling good. I mean, I seen small little vases like this and bigger vases selling, for, upwards of 75 to 100. Some of them even upwards of like 150. I don't really think that this one's going to sell that good, but you never know. There might be somebody out there that's been collecting, pieces made by this company and they just have to have it. But I think reasonably $35 to $45. I bought these two turtles. I am a sucker for anything that's made out of wood. I love, anything that's handmade and that's made out of wood. This one is ironwood, so it's a really dark, really hard, and really heavy. Just a little sea turtle, but it's really well made. It doesn't have any marks on it. Usually wooden items are usually marked with a sticker, and it's probably just fallen off over time. But it's a really cool item. I basically just picked it up for myself. I have a pretty extensive collection of small wooden, I guess you can call them, Chotsky type items. Alrighty, so here is another item that is very similar to the vase that I just showed you, but the tag is a little different. So I'm not sure if it is the same company or not. It definitely has a different tag. So this says Mycenaean Center, handmade in Helios by Mycenaean Center. I'm probably butchering that name, but it says high quality copy of the ancient Hellenic art. So basically it is pretty similar to that item. It's just a different tag, but it's, a handmade, hand-painted replica of an item that obviously would have dated back to 450 BC. Exact copy of classic period, handmade by Mycenaean Center in Greece. So that one's pretty cool. This one might actually sell a little better than the other one just because the writing on the bottom, and it just has a little bit better color to it. But you never know. I'm going to do some more research on these and see what they sell for. But I think those should sell pretty good. I'm going to sell them separately, obviously. But yeah, I think that's a good score. Alrighty, the next item that I picked up was, this is like for making like cocktails, mixed drinks, things of that nature. But I thought it was pretty unique, just the way that it's made. If you look at the handle comes from the bottom and then it swoops up to the top, but it doesn't reconnect. It also has a sterling silver bottom, which probably doesn't weigh that much, but it adds character. It adds, it's just a higher quality one than your normal, just regular, all glass. But anyways, it's just a really cool item. People collect stuff like this. People that, love decanters and they like to, drink their drinks out of high-end, vintage and antique items, there's people out there still to this day that, that personally will not drink out of items when they're drinking like their wine and their liquor and things of that nature. I've been to people's houses where, literally they only drink out of, like, let's say, antique glass. So, I always sell stuff like this. And so that's kind of why I know the market so well, in the sense of most resellers would look at this and immediately just think, that's just, it's not really worth that much money. It's not even worth buying. And in reality, it's probably not. For me, for selling on eBay, it's probably not. But when you don't have that much money into it and it's gonna sell, if you pick up items like this all the time and you keep a constant flow of these items coming in and then being sold on a regular basis, it really does make a huge difference, especially when your profit margins are really high. I paid $30 for all of the small items on this table, and the average sell price on pretty much all of these items are going to be right around the $20 to $25 mark. So, it really does add up, and I sell stuff like this all the time. I think that this is going to sell within a couple of weeks, and I bet you I can get at least probably $35 to $40 for it. Now, if it was just an all glass one with no sterling silver bottom, probably only $25 to $30, but I think that that's going to add a little bit of value, and it's going to be more appealing to somebody. So I think that's going to sell pretty good. Okay, the next item is this really tall vase. Now, I have sold this one in the past, but it wasn't this color. This is done by a company called Vernonware out of California. And usually these are white, yellow, blue. I think they might have a red one, but I've never seen a dark brown one. So I've sold these, like I said, in the past, and I think usually I get somewhere between $35 to $45 for them, but I think this one might bring a little bit more because it has the older mark on the bottom. It's probably not going to show up on the camera, but it has the older mark and it's a brown. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a much rarer color and, demand more money. But we'll never know until, we do a little bit of research and then we get it listed. So, but anyways, I think for sure it should sell for at least $35, $45. I've sold, in the past years, I've probably sold at least 3, 4, probably 5 of those in the past year or two. They're really common. I find them a lot at estate sales. I found one at Goodwill one time and paid like $2 for it. So anyways, that was a good pickup. And that's something else that I wanted to mention. When you're selling items like this, the average reseller, let's say somebody who has been in the game for less than a year, who really doesn't deal in items like this, if they were to go out and they were to buy, something like this, and they didn't know how to describe it, and they didn't know how to market it, and how to actually sell it to appeal to somebody who is a collector, somebody who is looking for a hand-carved ironwood sea turtle, they could be in trouble because, they just wouldn't be able to actually get any money for something like this, because if you don't have the right title and the right description, it's pretty hard to sell items like this because there's so much on the market that resembles this, but is junk. Stuff that is, recent handmade items from certain countries that still make stuff like this still to this day. And I don't know how to explain it. It's pretty hard to explain, but I've seen so many resellers over the years try to get into buying and selling items like this, but they just don't understand it. They don't realize that it really does take knowledge. You can't just go out there and start buying, any piece of pottery or any piece of glass that you see, because you're probably just going to end up with a bunch of really cheap stuff, and it's just not going to sell. If you have the knowledge and the know-how, you can go out there and make money because you're able to find items that actually have age on it and that's actually a piece of quality glass. But you have to know how to identify that. You have to. And that's why I always say that knowledge is key. All right, a couple of other items that I picked up. This was at the second garage sale. I only went to 2 garage sales. So I picked up this little kit here. Not really sure what this is going to sell for. I didn't look it up. I didn't look this kit up either. they were so cheap I didn't even care to look them up. Basically, I picked up this box first, and I looked inside it. I seen that it was complete. It had never been touched. And I said, how much? She said $1. So I said, okay, I'll take this one. And then I picked up this one, and I said, hey, is this one $1 too? And she said, yeah, sure. So I bought both of those for $2. I'm going to have to do some research and figure out exactly, you know, what these kits are worth, but I know that there's going to be money to be made, so I'm not really worried about it. All right, this one here is a, hopefully I can pronounce this correctly, Meifer Tools. It's professional woodworking burnished chisel set. So this chisel set was pretty difficult because I picked it up at first and the woman said an outrageous number. She was like, oh, that set's $100. So I set the set down and I basically moved on. Then I came back and I bought the 2 boats, right? And I picked up the chisel set again and I said, you know, hey, you know, is this company, you know, do they make really good tools? And, you know, why is it so much? I seen, you know, chisel sets, you know, before, and I've never seen any chisels that are really, really expensive. Basically, I was just trying to kind of, you know, get a conversation going. I've never really heard of the name Meifer, so I really didn't, you know, understand it. And I didn't have cell phone reception. So that was one of the big reasons why I was trying to get some information out of her. But basically, she didn't have any information. She just said that her husband said they were really expensive when he bought them. And so they basically came up with a $100 price tag. But after talking to her for a few minutes, I bought the 2 boats. And then I bought this suitcase. I paid $2 for this suitcase. I think I should be able to get $35, $40 for it. People collect suitcases, and people actually still use vintage leather suitcases still to this day. It's not in the best of condition, but it's really cool on the inside. It's got like this really nice white look. It's got a really nice, you know, worn down leather handle that shows a lot of age and patina. It just has a really cool rustic type of, you know, that's exactly what people like when they're buying leather, especially the type of person that wants that worn leather look. So anyways, $2 on the suitcase. So I bought all 3 of those items, and then I had said, you know, is that the best you could do on the Meifer tool set? And she said, well, I don't know. I can't get a hold of my husband. What would you offer? And I literally had no clue what this tool set is worth, and she said $100, and I basically was just like, I couldn't do $100, but if you're willing to take $20, I'll give you $20. And she was like, okay, that sounds fine. So, you know, sometimes you have to make offers. I mean, I don't really know what this is going to sell for. I'm not really a big tool guy. I know a little bit about tools, but it's more on the mechanic side of tools, not really woodworking tools. But I did do a little bit of research. It's just kind of hard to tell. They definitely look to be quality. I mean, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking for, but they feel like a quality tool. So I'm hoping that I can at least, you know, sell it for $75. That's what my hope is. I'm going to do some research on it and figure out, you know, exactly what they're selling for. Alrighty, last and final item that I purchased this morning was these old keys. I bought this from the first yard sale. I just forgot to mention it. This was the only item that I did not bundle with all of these items. Basically, I had purchased all of these items, and then I had seen those laying there, and I asked her how much. She said $3, so I gave her $3. I think that this set of keys, I'm going to just sell them just like they are. I think I should be able to get $35. I mean, I've sold old skeleton keys like this numerous times in the past. I've sold, you know, small boxes full of old assorted keys. Sometimes I'll add them to some of my junk drawer lots that I list every couple of months, and they will make the price kind of go up. People collect keys, and there's tons of people out there that are looking to buy old skeleton keys, and I just think they're really cool. They're on this big ring, and they look really cool. So I'm thinking $30, $35. I paid $3. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the Simpsons toys. Basically, if you've been following the channel and you've watched a couple of my last videos, I bought a bunch of these toys, and it's just been as you can tell behind me, I mean, they're spread out all over the place. But everything has been going extremely good. I haven't really got to the point to where I have enough of them listed to where I can see how good they're selling, but I've already listed maybe 30 of them, and I've sold probably 7, 8 of the actual toys on eBay. I've also sold a couple of other items. 2 of the, they have nothing to do with the actual world of Springfield, but down in the bottom of one of the boxes was 2 the Simpsons fossil watches. So basically, from what little bit of research I did, it looked like you know, some kind of collaboration between the brand Fossil and then the brand you know, the Simpsons. Basically, they came up with a watch, and it comes with like a really cool box. It's like Homer sitting on the couch. Anyways, I had 2 of them brand new in the box. And I called a good friend of mine who is a watch collector, and he was immediately interested. He bought them for his son. His son has been collecting watches since he was like 7 years old. He's 14 now, but he was a big, huge Simpsons fan. So the guy was like, man, I'll buy those from you right now. Just tell me what you want for them. And I gave him a pretty good deal, but I didn't give him like, you know, a super enough deal to where I didn't make any money, or I didn't sell him for at least what I thought I could get for him on eBay. But I did give him a pretty decent discount because he is a friend of mine. But anyways, so I sold those 2 toys, the 2 watches, and so far I have sold like 7 or 8 of the actual toys on eBay. So in a grand total so far, I have made $444, I think. I don't really have the exact number, but I know it's right over 400 bucks. And that's super, super good. I obviously did not think that these toys were going to sell for that much money. Granted, the 2 watches, they had nothing to do with the collection of the Simpsons toys that I bought. It just so happened that the guy had bought the 2 watches because he was a Simpsons collector. And I have found other toys that was in the collection that had nothing to do with the world of Springfield. But as far as the world of Springfield toys, I've sold 7 of them so far. I think actually 8. And some of the bigger ones that I knew was going to sell for good money sold, and I actually listed them a little higher than I intentionally thought I was going to list them for, and they sold immediately, like within like the day that I listed them or the very next day. Also, a few other figures, some mail order, the mail away figures, some other items. They've just been selling pretty good so far. So, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, I've already made my money back. I'm already in the profit over 200 bucks, and I still have 97% of the toys. I mean, I haven't even begun to even dent the pile of toys yet. Alrighty, so I have been photographing items for the past 2 hours. I got quite a few items photographed, around 60-something items, mainly toys and then a few other odds and ends. But I wanted to finish off this video talking about motivation. What motivates you as a reseller? What motivated me as a reseller when I first started? I think it's super important to kind of sit back every now and then and kind of think about what motivates you. What gets you up in the morning? What gets you going? You know, what drives you and makes you get out there and hustle and find items and source hard, and you know, there has to be something there, right? So let me kind of take you back when I first started reselling to just give you an idea of the kind of things that motivated me at the very beginning. When I first started this, you know, this whole business of buying and selling stuff, I was really young. So most of you might not be able to, you know, relate, but I was like, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I used to ride around with my father, and I used to go to estate sales, I used to go to garage sales, and I used to watch him buy and sell items. At that time, he was an antique dealer, and he was an antique collector. But I still, you know, wanted to be a reseller. I can remember at the, you know, at the earliest age, roughly 7, 8 years old, I used to tell my dad, I'm going to be buying and selling stuff. I'm going to be just like you. Not to, you know, honk my own horn, but I mean, that's exactly what happened. You know, now we're, you know, years and years later, I'm 32 years old, and I've literally been full-time at this for the last 15 years, over 15 years. And so, you know, when I was younger, the thing that motivated me to do what I wanted to do was the fact that I seen how happy it made my father. I seen how happy it made everybody that we came into contact with. We used to ride around and we used to visit places like antique stores, you know, just all kinds of different places that carried old items or even collectible items, toys, things of that nature. And everybody was in a good mood. Everybody loved what they were doing. Everybody was having a good time. And it just seemed like nobody hated what it is that they did for a living. And so I always used to watch it at a young age. And I used to always say, like, that's who I want to be. I don't want to be the person that I seen at McDonald's this morning who was hating life, miserable, mad. You know, I want to be somebody that's happy. I want to be somebody who loves, you know, whatever job it is that they're doing or whatever business it is that they own. And so I used to always tell myself, I'm going to be a reseller. And so later on down the road at about 15 and 16 years old, I used to get motivation from all kinds of different things. But the main thing that motivated me was just wanting to be my own boss, wanting to own my own business and do something that I'm passionate about, but also something that I love, I respect, and something that I was honestly at that time pretty good at. And so that's kind of where it all began. And so, you know, when you sit back, I don't know if you've been reselling for a year or if you've been reselling for 5 years. Whoever's watching this video, you need to sit back and think to yourself, what is motivating me? Is it just the money? Is it just the success? Or is it the passion? Do you enjoy buying and selling items? And so I think there's a lot of resellers on social media, especially YouTube, who's motivated by purely money. That's it. And I think there's a bunch of resellers that are on YouTube that are strictly motivated by the fame and the success behind their YouTube channel. I don't really think that they are, you know, super motivated by reselling or by, you know, actually loving what it is that they do. I think that there's a lot of people out there like that. And I think that you're never going to find true success because you're never really going to be happy and you're never really going to be focused and motivated and you're never going to push yourself. And I think that's why I've been so, you know, lucky and so successful at this business is because I'm always pushing myself. I'm always trying to learn more. I'm always trying to gain knowledge. No matter who, no matter where, I'm willing to pick anybody's brain as long as they have something to offer me. And I think that that's something it's kind of rare these days. People are not willing to sit down and pick each other's brains or try to learn something from somebody. They want everything right then and there. They don't want to put any effort in themselves. They want all the information just given right to them. And I think that motivation has a lot to do with it. And if you scratch backwards, motivation is the force that's pushing you further in life, in business, and in happiness as well. I mean, you know, like if you're not happy in this business, you're never going to be motivated. Each morning when I wake up, I'm super motivated. I'm ready to get up. I'm ready to get the day started. I'm ready to get my orders packed and shipped. I'm ready to, you know, focus on finding, you know, stuff that I can resell. I'm answering phone calls. I'm emailing people. I'm super stoked every day I wake up because I'm my own boss. I'm running a successful business. I'm living the life that I've always wanted to live. And that's exactly why I made this YouTube channel. I wanted to reach people. I wanted to show people that to make money and to flourish and to be a better reseller than the next person. And one of the things that I've always told myself is that if I can teach somebody else or if I can encourage somebody else or show somebody else that there is another way to live life, there's a much happier way. You don't have to, you know, when people think being an entrepreneur or when people think a business owner, it's almost like everybody is put into the same box. You know, you're going to start a business, you're going to do this or you're going to do that. You know, years and years ago, people used to look at resellers as like, oh, that's just a junk dealer or, you know, he's just out, you know, picking, and it just never really had that attractive look. But now people are really starting to see that this is a very, you know, viable business that you can make lots of money in, and there's numerous avenues that you can take within the business. There's so many different things that you can do within the reselling business niche that it's not even funny. And that's why there's so many people joining and so many people coming together into the community. And then there's also a bunch of people that's falling off. Bunches of people come into the reselling community, they do it for a little while, and then they realize that this isn't what they thought it was going to be. And those are the people that I'm trying to grab. Those are the people that I think maybe they learned or maybe they listened to somebody else and they didn't really understand what they were getting themselves into, or they tried to choose a path that somebody else is showing on social media and it just isn't the path that they should have chosen. And I think that's a big issue in the reselling community. People come in to the reselling community, they go onto YouTube, they go onto Instagram, and what do they see? They see a bunch of resellers, and most of the most popular resellers, the ones that have 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, most of these resellers and gurus, they're just in a niche that's not really feasible. It's not really something that you can really get a hold of and be successful in. It's something that you can be successful in, but it's much, much harder. And so these people usually gravitate towards those channels, and then they try doing whatever it is that these people are teaching, and then they realize that this is not what I wanted. I'm unhappy. I am trying to sell 1,000 shirts a day, or I'm trying to spend 4 or 5 hours at the Goodwill bins and then come home and ship out 50, 60, 70 items a day, and I'm a one-man operation. I believe that, there's so many people out there like that, and they just don't realize that there's so much more out there. Clothing isn't the only niche. Video games isn't the only niche. There's so many different items that you can buy and resell. It's not even funny. The world is full of stuff. And with the power of the internet, you can literally find anything, anywhere to make money on. Also, there's just so much stuff being thrown away, given away, sold to you for pennies on the dollar. It's just unbelievable. In this day and age, it's so easy to be a reseller, but it's really hard to learn how to master the reselling business. And so I hope and I pray that everybody that's watching this video kind of takes heed to everything that I'm saying and realizes that there is a lot more to reselling, and I think that Chad is the one that has found a certain path that is much different than everybody else, and he's willing to share that information, he's willing to help people, he's willing to answer questions, he's willing to make videos and do whatever it is that we ask him to do, because that's what I'm here for. That's why I started my channel. So anyways, I just wanted to end the video on the motivation talk, but I also just wanted to say thank you for watching another video. I really appreciate it. I got to get back to work. I'm going to go inside and list these items. I photographed a bunch of items, and now I have to list them. Hopefully, I can get all of these toys listed in the next couple of weeks. And, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. Until next time, folks, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for coming and watching another video. Peace.